He runs diesel engines so they don't go choo-choo. UP trains are yellow and DMEs are blue. Dustin's and Skull Railroad, where the railroad comes to you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the layout room, or actually the workbench is where I'm at today, down in the layout room. Haven't done a video in quite a while here, but I thought now would be the time to just kind of give you an update of what's going on. I haven't done a lot on the layout. The weather's starting to get nice. It's hard to justify being outside or being inside when it's so nice outside. However, with some rain going through lately, I decided now is a good time to go in there and do a few things, and I also bring you up to what I've been doing. I've still been getting stuff for the layout, actual train stuff itself, and also some gadgets and stuff that I've got as well. So I thought, hey, why not ease back into it a little bit? I'll do a quick video about what I've gotten for the train and some of the gadgets I got to help me out, and eventually I'm going to keep working on it. So some of the stuff you may have seen, there was an unboxing film. Didn't turn out very good. In fact, I may even remove it by the time you see this publication. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. So before we take a look at what's going on the workbench, I'm going to be using this as my stand here in a minute for the camera, but there's something inside it. So I went to Hobby Lobby yesterday just to snoop around the clearance section. I know there was talk that on a chat I was watching, and I'm sorry I forgot who it was on Friday night, Vinny's After Party, we called it. We were talking about stuff at Hobby Lobby that was on clearance, and some of the stuff included was some of the Woodland Scenics products. Now, however, Woodland Scenics didn't have any products on clearance, but there were a few things that were on clearance. One of the things I told my wife I was looking for when we went in was some decal bonder, because I was making my own decals, and I'm going to be printing my own decals. Some of those you may have seen on my Facebook page, Dustin's N-Scale Railroad on Facebook as well. Share it to a few of the pages. I made some signage for my brewery and for my ethanol plant right now, so I'm pretty excited about those, getting those done. And also got some graffiti for a car that's going to be, I'll show you in just a minute. But one of the things I noticed, first of all, I picked up one of the cans of Bonder spray at Hobby Lobby for like $5.99. I'm like, oh, well, that's not bad. I'll grab that. Well, then when I was going to the clearance section, they had a can that apparently had been in a box that some paint had spilled on, because there's still black paint dripped down the can, and there's cardboard stuck to the bottom of the can, as you can see here. But the price was right. I mean, $5.99 or $1.50. I only needed one can, so I opted for the $1.50 instead of the $5.99. But what really excited me down at the clearance section was this. They had some of the little latex hobby paints. And so, not latex, acrylic hobby paints. I think they're acrylics. Yeah, they're acrylics, hobby paints. Anyway, normally now, I know Walmart you can pick up for like $1 a bottle. Well, at Hobby Lobby, some of them are, like $2.50, depending on the brand. And, I've worked with some of the Hobby Lobby ones, and I looked at the Walmart ones. Don't get me wrong, I like the Walmart ones. They're good. But a lot of the Walmarts, at least my Walmart here, carries more of just the primary colors. And, I don't know, the quality to me, maybe it's just me, but it's been just a little bit, like a B grade, to me. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but whatever. But anyway, they had these acrylics, and they were all on clearance. So I got a lot of grays, some browns, light sage, some yellows, some reds, some greens. Burnt umber was another one. Oh, that's coffee bean, but I did get some burnt umber. But the thing is, they were all on clearance. Some of them were 39 cents, some were 62 cents. Basically, I bought 28 bottles of paint yesterday. Some of them were duplicates, but I paid an average of 41 cents a bottle. So for like $11, I got 28 bottles of paint instead of paying $11 at their normal price and getting 5 bottles of paint. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, that's what I got here at the Hobby Lobby in the clearance section. We'll go back and take a look at what else I got here just right now. Got a few things I'm working on. Right now I'm working on my Milwaukee Road Olympia Hiawatha. Trying to get that worked on. Got a few decoders I got to put in yet. However, I found out that I got to cut some Kapton tape here on the contacts before I drop my decoder in. Otherwise, as soon as I turn it on, it just flies around the layout. So quick grabbed it and got to put some Kapton tape here. I've got a few pieces that came actually with the decoders, so I can use that My only problem is I've got to isolate this. But as you can see here, I'm trying to bring it up so you can see it. The pickups on those copper bands run right up alongside. So I got to try to figure out how I'm going to isolate them completely. But I'll figure it out. I'm sure there's probably a simple way of doing it, and you're all probably just screaming it at me already. But I will figure it out. Anyway, that's not what I'm doing right now. I am working on my, of course, my DM&Es. I still haven't got the decals put on those yet, but we're getting done with that here as we speak. But I'm going to show you some of the things I did get. I'm going to start first with the tools. No, not the tools. I'm sorry, the train stuff. Some of the stuff you may have seen already, but if you watched the unboxing video I did, first of all, I got these FMC chemical cars. I've got 64150 and 64152. So yeah, I wanted to put them on my layout. Sparky had them on his. I saw on his run about a week ago, we had him going around the his trains going around the helix, and so I saw the FMC chemical cars, and being a farm broadcaster and journalist, FMC sponsors some of my shows on my network. So I thought, hey, why not get some FMC cars? They'll weather up pretty nicely, I think, and add nicely to the collection. I'm pretty excited about those here right now. Now the other one I got from Yankee Dabbler, and the ones I got, the FMCs, I got from Perry's Hobbies. They're in my hometown in Morgan, Minnesota. So yeah, good place. If you ever done business with Perry, if you haven't done business with Perry, I suggest at least checking him out. He's got some good stuff here. Got this from Yankee Dabbler last month. It was the last one he had. Was a Pillsbury car. Now I'm working on some graffiti for it. I've got what looks like a gangbanger poppin' fresh. I thought would look cool on there, and I made some graffiti stickers. I haven't printed decals yet, but that says, like, woohoo, because, Pillsbury. But so I got that. I'm pretty excited about that car as well. Pillsbury, of course, Minnesota company. I'm a little partial to that. Let's see. Then I got my Chicago Northwestern train. My F7 engine obviously has Microtrain's it's got Kato couplers, but I got Microtrain's car right here because the rest of my cars are all Rapido couplers, and so I got one of these passenger car trucks that I can adjust the length of the coupler on it, and I can at least make a car right now that'll be a transition car. Eventually, as budget allows, I will get more of these and eventually bring it up, but for right now, I at least will have a transition car. Let's see, what else do I got here? Oh yeah, over here, I decided to go a different route with my passenger train, so I got these. I'll see if I can zoom out. Yeah, there we go. The butterfly style passenger station platforms from Walthers. Pretty excited about that kit. I had one I picked up pretty cheap online, but again, it wasn't exactly, well, it was actually pretty nice, but it won't work for my layout right now the way I've got it set up, and it's kind of old and falling apart. So pretty excited about that, and I think that'll pair nicely with this here. And I went and got this. My wife let me get this. This Kato North American Suburban Station. Now I'm not sure I like the color of it, and this will probably be a build I may think about doing, my passenger station kit build on my channel itself. But I'm trying to look at it here if you've never seen it. I know it opens up because there it is. There's the flap. The colors are okay. Fowler makes this for Kato, so that's that's neither here nor there. But I've got Fowler stuff too. It looks pretty good, but I'm thinking about painting a different paint scheme on the colors. I'm not sure here. There's some nice looking stuff here, don't get me wrong, but I'm thinking about going different. Like they got this green, and I don't know, there's something about the green I don't like. It looks nice, but it looks too plasticky and too toy-like. But don't get me wrong, it looks like a good quality kit. And they've got this kind of a yellowish color. So I actually went and got some different paints that I'm going to think about using for this. Oop, didn't mean to bump the camera there. Hopefully I can square that up. But yeah, so I've got that. I'm going to do a different paint scheme together, though. I'm going to paint over with the gray, with a lighter gray, just a shade lighter on some of it, because the gray brick is okay. Well, the gray parts they're okay, but they're not my favorite. And the yellow, I kind of like it, but I just don't like that yellow tannish color. So what I did was I got some Testor's Light Flat Aircraft Gray, which I'm going to use on the trim and the pieces that are actually yellow, which would be the yellow part of the building here. I'm going to go with that gray, which I kind of like. But instead of the brownish gray brick, which actually they've painted in here, but I'm going to go with a mustard yellow, almost African mustard yellow brick. I kind of like that look, that gold look. And then what I'm going to put on the top is a light earth brown for the roof. So it's not the green and tan. It's the color they have molded in the brick. I'm not very impressed with, but it is what it is, and it's still a decent kit. So I'll be doing some work on that. I don't know if I'll do a kit build video on that or not, but irregardless, that's what I did. Another thing I got the other day at Menards, I picked up this, because I've got I'm sure a lot of you have been in this boat before, I have my switches that I've got to put in to switch. I don't know if you've seen, I can maybe take you around here in a second. In fact, let's go over to show you what I've got for the setup. If you don't know what I've got set up between my main and my programming track, I'll show you that. Hang on one second. All right, so here's where I'm talking about right now, and here's my other Milwaukee Road, my B unit that I've got to work on the decoder in there as well. But this is what I've got here. This is my programming track. This is my mainline track, and I've noticed that I've got the NCE still plugged in right now. But I have this hole, as you can see right down here, for my switch to come out. That's the switch I have that switches between my main line and my programming track. Now, obviously, I want to try to get a little LED in here, up here, maybe, to let me know when this one's live, and when it's out, I know the other one's live. Maybe, I don't know, that or I'll just label it. I'll, try to get it so up as main and down as program is what I'm trying to do. But anyway, obviously, with the way things are laid out in here, and I'm going to take you underneath the layout, you can see here that trying to get a switch in there is going to be kind of a pain in the butt. I can see you. Anyway, so I tried to chip that out, but it doesn't work the way I want, so that's why I got the router, so I can get in there and do that. So now that you've seen what I've got to work with here to put that switch in, let's go back and do the workbench. So now that you've seen the setup I've got for the programming track and the main line, obviously that switch, like I said, won't fit in there quite right. It's not deep enough, so I couldn't chisel it out. So I got this laminate trim router because I'm not going to be having to do too much work. It's got a nice little light so I can get underneath. And then I got myself a 1/4-inch router bit, that I can adjust the depth on, and I can router out that hole so I can get the switch in, but I also don't lose the fascia, because as you saw, as I pointed out, there's that drilled hole that I had made for the switch, but the switch doesn't get through because I have to router out a hole. So yeah, I'm going to be working on that as I get going, and then of course I've still got wiring to do. Boy, do I have wiring. I've got to get all the drop feeders wired in, which I've started working on, but I'm not exactly done with. Other things I got here. Also, while I was at Menards, I picked up some other stuff, but one of the things I want to wait till last, but I also picked up some of these clamps. I haven't opened them up, but you can see these little clamps. They got different Vise clamps, different sizes, which I thought was perfect for clamping some pieces together, clamping some stuff up. Can use them, not too much pressure on them, but they'll work to hold what I've got to hold together. And anyway, like I said, I've got one other thing I'm going to show you, something that I've made up, but anyway, we'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, so I showed you the router bit. So I was also in Hobby Lobby and decided I needed some to be a putty for putting up, filling up cracks in buildings. I've got a couple in my brewery I've noticed, and I'm going to be going through and trying to isolate those. But I decided to get some to fill up if I have any problems with this with the station once I get going on it. Because like I said, I want it to look good, and I don't need a lot from the way it looks, So I'm going to try that and see if it works. Also picked up this brush set. Got on sale a bunch of fine tip brushes. I've got several broad brushes, which are great for some things, but I wanted some detail brushes. And even the biggest one is pretty thin, so I'm pretty happy with that setup right now, what I've got. Don't know if you can see it very well or not, but I'll try. Lighting is halfway decent here, but... So, picked up that brush set. And then Vinny had his video on Friday, and I really enjoyed the look of his X-Acto knife. Because, I mean, I've got X-Acto knives, and they're good X-Acto knives. Don't get me wrong. I like them, but I like a wider grip on things. And I'm not I don't know, always have. Now, so I'll keep these X-Acto knife, handles if I use them, but I picked up this monstrosity. So I'm pretty excited about this as well. It's got a nice little bit wider fit to it. Looks a lot more ergonomic, more comfortable. In fact, I'm going to open it up and just see how it feels now that I've got it. And make sure it's what I want. And of course, got to be careful because they leave the razor blade on here, but luckily they cover it in tape, so it's not going to cut me. Well, unless you take the tape off when you're sliding it out. But anyway, yeah, a lot more ergonomic. Got a soft cushion. Oh, yeah, already I can feel. That's just a better feel to the X-Acto knife. And I think what it is just the blade is got the handle's got this little rubber thing over it. But be that as it may, I like it. It's gives me a little bit of control. And so, yeah, I picked up that. And I got to get the cover off of it. But so I'm pretty excited about that. And then I picked up some pack of 15 blades, number 11 blades, at Hobby Lobby. So got the discount on one of those at least, because yeah, they were the most expensive things I bought there the other day at Hobby Lobby. I also picked up some decal paper. Oh, I forgot something else to show you, but I'll show you that in a second. Picked up some decal paper from Michaels. These are 8.5 by 11 sheets. I also picked up there's 4 of them in here, but this was like $10. I did pick up some of the Testors 5 by 7 sheets. Both of them are clear, the transparent ones, for water slide paper. So I'm going to give it a shot, printing off some decals and see what I can come up with, and give it a shot. Another tool I got was this Machinist Square, just to kind of help keep things square when I'm working on putting walls together and doing things like that. And did get one other thing I forgot to show you. This a small engine house. I'm going to put this on the last track, the short track I have on my yard along the way to the brewery, just so I have a place to put the switcher car when I get one in there. I will be getting a new switcher car, a switcher engine eventually. I've been using the BNSF right now. I have a switcher engine for the ethanol plant, but that is going to be staying there. So I'm going to have a switcher that'll run the yard. And like I said, I just want to keep him off to the back side if I can, where things are a little more out of the way. Doesn't mean I can't. I may still use it on the, I may have cars. I'll figure it out when I get that far how it's going to lay out. And so the last thing I got, also kind of an idea I got from Vinny. I know he has that tray that he uses for squaring things up that he said was really good. And I looked at it, and I know it's $20 through the Micro Mark. At least it was when I saw it last. It was on sale for $20, I think, through Micro Mark. But it was like $20. I was like, there's got to be a way. And I looked to get a little cheaper. I mean, I'm a little ingenuitive, but so I went through and I did some putzing around. I went to Menards, and the last thing I bought is I basically made my own. I'm going to take the flash light off here. Sorry about the glare, boys and girls. But so I built my own. What I used was, I looked at metal cake pans and things like that, and they're always got a tapered edge now. My mom used to have these old cake pans that were square perfectly, up and down, but I can't find those anymore, and I'm not going to go searching every thrift store in town. But what I did was I got an end cap for ductwork at Menards. I paid like $3 for this, and then I bought 3 pairs of these really heavy magnets, and I can get them in the corner, and with that square I can make sure I've got them squared up, and then I can always go through and put my pieces in, and then use the magnet to kind of hold them in place, and make it work that way. Or if I have to, probably like this, so I can glue them in place. But yeah, there's going to be a little bit of putzing around, and you see me struggling with it right now. But, this whole thing cost me $8 to do this whole setup. So I thought $8 over 20. I like that. And fitting my budget allowed me to do some more money on the router that way. And yeah, so I can clamp some things in. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. That's what I've got. Now I've got no more excuses. It's time to get to work. First thing is getting the Kapton tape on this engine here, on this F7, to get that going. And then I got one other engine I got to fix. I got this Intermountain DMI RR. If you guys are watching, have a tip for this. I put it on the track, and she runs, but it's like she's running 100 miles an hour, but she's moving an inch an hour. She's like, you can hear the wheels spinning, but she's just creeping, and so obviously I don't let it burn the motor out, but something's not quite right. So if I'm missing something or I'm not figuring this out, please let me know what I can do, because I want to get the DMIRR up and running so it can handle my ore service on the layout. So guys, that's what I've got going on. That's what I've picked up for the layout. That's the things I've got, and now I've got a few things to keep me going on some summer projects because, you know, spring and summer I don't get as many days down here as I would like in the train room. But there's always those rainy days or days you just kind of feel lazy and it's too hot to go outside, which I know that does happen in Iowa. So I've got some things to keep me busy, but things that won't be as time consuming. And I'll always be able to have some projects to get done here on the layout, plus the wiring I've got to do as well. So thanks for checking things out with me, and we will see you down the road. I also want to take this opportunity to say Happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there. If you've got a 3-day weekend, that's awesome. Just please don't forget why we have a 3-day weekend out there. This flag happens to be that of my father. He was a sergeant in the Minnesota National Guard from 71 to 77. Didn't get drafted right away, so he decided he wanted to serve. He went in the National Guard. They were actually rumored that they were going to go, but never did go. But he wanted to serve. His brother was in the National Guard. His brother-in-law was in the National Guard. Yeah, he could have went into the full service, but he decided that's where he wanted to serve, knowing full well and was willing to go over. The National Guard gets a lot of bad rap once in a while, but I think they've more than paid for that in the last conflicts we had in the Middle East. But anyway, of course, we didn't lose him in combat. So Memorial Day would be not necessarily for him. He'd be more Veterans Day. But I know there's a lot of these around the country for those soldiers who never came back. And again, remember why we have that 3-day weekend. Yes, by all means, get out there and enjoy it. Get out there and grill if you want to. Enjoy the beautiful weather if you've got it. But if you get the chance and your community has one and you're not being social distance, if they've got a remembrance ceremony or anything for your soldiers, make sure you're going. That's why we have this holiday weekend. I know with 2 months off, it seems like it's been a complete holiday. But again, remember why we do it. And I salute all those veterans who are watching that have served, perfectly willing and knowing that they could be making the ultimate sacrifice, and those who have served to keep us free. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and happy Memorial Day. We'll see you down the railroad.